Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. My name is Tom Nash, and apparently this is the end of Tesla. Well, at least if you ask Dan O'Dowd. Apparently him and Ross Gerber, a very unusual couple, took a ride in the Model S, and that odd couple got into an accident, or at least was about to get into an accident. They had to manually intervene, and now there's a whole hoopla about this on the internet, and that, along with the downgrade for the stock from Goldman Sachs of all places. Now there's some new FUD about Tesla, and investors are kind of freaking out. Now, I'm here to tell you how I'm playing this and how I'm going to be handling the situation. So stick around till the end of this video. I'm going to tell you my strategy. But before I do so, let me explain a few things. Number one, if you want to join a real conversation about Tesla from engineers, from the aerospace industry, from the auto industry, join our Patreon, patreon.com/Tom Nash. We have a Discord room dedicated for Tesla with some of the smartest people in the industry talking about Tesla every single day. So join the conversation. We'd love to have you there. Now, number one, first of all, I want to explain something to you. Tesla shares are very, very volatile. Now, I know it's easy to forget given the fact that the stock is currently at $256 and it seems like it's always been there. But no, just 6 months ago, the stock was trading at $108. Now it's at $256. Before that, in August 22, it was trading at $309. Before that, the 52-week high was $314. So, as you can see, the stock is very, very volatile. The one thing that is in common in its volatility, it's the narrative. I always hear this from people who say, well, Tom, I wish I could buy stock of Tesla when it was so cheap. Now it's so expensive. I'm just going to wait for a dip. And then a dip comes, usually because of FUD like this, and they're too chicken Bologna to do something about it. Let's put it this way. And they see the dip, they freak out, they panic, and they don't use the dip because they're thinking, well, Tesla is going to $70, like Gordon Johnson is saying. I'm just going to wait a little bit more, and then the stock spikes again, they miss out again, and they complain again. That cycle continues. Now, if you don't want this to happen to you, listen to this video, because in this video, I'm going to break everything down objectively. Now, obviously, a disclaimer, I am a Tesla bull. I'm not going to pretend like I'm not. I like Elon, I like Tesla, I like the company, I have shares of Tesla, so I am a bull of Tesla. So everything I'm saying here, you have to take with a grain of salt, knowing that. There's definitely bias here a little bit, but let me just break it down to you like the way I see it. Number one, what about FSD changed right now, given what happened? So you can argue a lot of arguments about the test they conducted. I saw a lot of tweets about it. The fact of the matter is, some people are saying that Ross Gerber was actually deactivating, accidentally it seems, the FSD by pressing on the gas. Or it's not really the gas in Tesla, right? But basically the acceleration pedal. And there's other talk about, the stop sign being mislocated, about, 10 feet off of the intersection, a car that was cutting into the intersection. There's a million different things that people talk about. I'm not talking about this. Let's just assume that, the almost near accident actually happened. And let's ask ourselves a simple question. What does this mean for Tesla shares? What does this mean for the company? And what does it mean for investors? Well, number one, does it change the fact that we knew that FSD is experimental? It isn't freaking beta, my guy. It's called a beta because it's not yet available for everyone. It's being tested. So it's not perfect. We knew it made mistakes. We knew you have to have driver intervention all the time. You have to have awareness. You don't go to sleep in a Tesla. So that ain't nothing new. I mean, there's going to be more near accidents when you use something that's experimental and it's a beta. Now, that hasn't changed. What about other stuff? Well, does it change the fact that Tesla is miles ahead of everybody else with FSD? If this is happening with, with FSD, with Tesla full self-driving, what will the other guys say? Tesla is already miles ahead of these guys. And if that's the problem with FSD, imagine what the other guys are going through. Tesla has the most amount of miles, the most amount of cars, the most amount of data. Their system is getting better every day, exponentially faster than all the other competitors. So, did it change because of this near accident? I don't think so. Look, Tesla sold 800,000 Model Ys last year. That's almost as good as selling Corollas. They sold it over to Toyota at like 1.2 million Corollas last year. Tesla's already at 800,000 of Model Ys. And Tesla hasn't really even warmed up yet. I mean, does that change the fact that Model Y is going to be the best-selling car in the world within a few years? Maybe even sooner? No, I don't think it changes that. Does it change the fact that Tesla has better margins than Toyota and the rest of the industry? Not even talking about Ford and GM. They're different story in the category of their own. Tesla has the best margins in the industry, much better than Toyota that makes literally 10 times more cars than Tesla. Does it change that? Does it change the fact that they have a massive head start in EV production, in EV equipment, testing, fabrication, whatever you want to call it? No, it doesn't change any of that. Does it change the fact that Tesla is already a leader in a whole new industry, which is called the energy storage for commercial applications, the mega pack? We can talk about that. I mean, that's part of the company. As a shareholder, you have to be aware of that. We haven't even said a word about robotics, AI, the robotaxi, all the things that Kathy Wood raves about. I mean, we're not even including that in the conversation because, like, for me, that ain't real enough yet. So just let's exclude that at all. Just use it as a bonus. We haven't talked about the balance sheet. I mean, does it change the fact that Tesla, out of all the existing auto manufacturers, has the cleanest balance sheet? I mean, so much cash, no debt. And with every other auto manufacturer, it's literally upside down. Does it change that? Obviously, no. So, if nothing has changed for your thesis, that's one case. But I think at this point, we should make kind of a fork in the road sort of conversation. If you don't like Tesla, if you don't like the thesis, and if this accident causes you to change your thesis about Tesla, then you should get out. Simple as that. But if that accident or near accident, that downgrade from Goldman Sachs, whatever that may be, does not change your thesis, now, what do you do next? Well, what do you do next is very, very simple. This is something I teach every single day. I'm like a broken clock, keep saying the same thing. Dollar cost average into good companies over the long haul, slowly, time over time. Now, I teach this system on my Patreon page, patreon.com/Tom Nash. We just launched a new tier called Tom's Academy. There's a very few spots left. I think about 6 or 7 spots left for the Academy, and then it's gone after that. In this Academy, we're going to teach you how to dollar cost average into good companies over time. And it's much more complicated than that because I think the complicated part of that equation is not necessarily the dollar cost averaging part, which I'll explain right now in a second. There's no paywall for that. The more complicated part is the valuation and finding good companies and researching good companies and financial modeling and actually recognizing the gems, because it's not going to help you to DCA, dollar cost average, into bad companies. So if you want to learn the system, you can do it by 3 ways before I explain what I'm going to do with Tesla here. And I'll give away my strategy for Tesla in a second because that's not a secret. I mean, come on. I don't think anybody should charge for telling you that Tesla is a great company, but I'm just going to explain my theory on how I'm going to play this. So if you want to learn the system of how to dollar cost average into great companies and ignore all this nonsense, you can either watch the free videos and you will learn a lot. You can join our Discord for free. We have a whole public section of free Discord members. The link is going below. You can join our Patreon, $5 per month, and become a paid member and join the member section. We teach a lot there. Or you can take it to the next level and join Tom's Academy. I think there's like 7 spots left or whatever. And participate in our lessons. We already posted lesson number 1. We're going to have 120 lessons upcoming in the next year. Every single aspect of company valuation, financial modeling, and everything you need in your toolbox to become a good investor. Because you have to find the good companies, not just dollar cost average into trash. Now, what I'm doing with Tesla, it's very, very simple. Look, my thesis for Tesla is as strong as it's ever been. Every single month, I put an exact dollar amount into Tesla. Whatever amount of shares I can get. So let's call it $100. So every month, I put in $100 into Tesla. And I have 12 times in which I invest $100. So every year, I invest $1,200 into Tesla, just using a number here. And nothing changes that. Price goes up, price goes down. I don't care. Because I know that sometimes price will spike, sometimes it goes down. But if I just keep adding $100 every single month, I'm going to average out around the center of that average, up or down. Now, there is a little bit of a nuance here because you can actually take it to the next level, which I'm also doing with Tesla. And I'm also saying here something else. I'm saying, look, as long as Tesla remains below 10% off of the 52-week high, which if you check me, you see the 52-week high for Tesla is $314. And 10% below that is $283. As long as Tesla remains currently below $283, I'm going to spend $200. I'm going to double down. So as long as Tesla is below 10% off of the 52-week high, I'm buying double of my allowance. Instead of 100, 200 every month. And the moment Tesla goes up into that range of 10% off of the 52-week high, whatever that is, then I'm going back to 100. And even if it goes to the moon, I'm still going to buy 100. And that way, I ensure myself that my weighted average of the cost basis I have in Tesla is going to be very, very close to the bottom and not to the top. And I'm not doing any FOMO. I don't have any anxiety. I'm not gambling. I'm not trading. I'm not trying to guess the top or the bottom. Simply by dollar cost averaging and doubling down when it's below the threshold, below the 52-week high, I'm ensuring myself that I'm going to be very close to the bottom price of the stock when everything is said and done in 5 and 10 years. This is a marathon. It's not quick. It's going to take time. If you don't have patience, some people may say, well, Tom, I don't have 10 years. That's ain't for you. Simple. Go do something else. If you got 10 years and you're trying to save up for your pension and your life when you don't have income and you're thinking about yourself in your 60s and 70s, this is the right system for you. Again, if you want to learn more about this, patreon.com/Tom Nash. Whatever tier you choose to join, starting from $5, I'm going to refund every single member within the first month that isn't happy with this. Sometimes that happens too, and that's fine. There's no hard feelings.